Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now we know that Alex Salmond and Nicola Sturgeon have never been the best of chums. Even back in the old days when he was leading the party, there was always an edge to it. They had to be pretendy friendies, in much the same way as Blair and Brown were pretendy friendies back in the days of New Labour. But since the allegations, the court cases, the split and forming new parties, and just generally the passing of time, it becomes clear that Sturgeon and Salmond are unrequited. They will never ever sit in the same room again. They actually loathe each other. But it seems it's not just Sturgeon who has a problem with Alex Salmond, because John Swinney himself now says he will never campaign with Salmond again. He seems to have gone off him a bit, and so it says that their relationship is difficult and distant. Is Salmond difficult to get on with? Or are the SNP just filled with people who are, let's just say, unpleasant and hate-filled and who don't really want to get on? I think, actually, it's probably the latter. I don't believe that Alex Salmond is difficult to get on with. He always comes across as being, outside of politics at least, being fairly decent. I do believe that the wrong sort of people are attracted to the SNP, the psychopaths. It's a psychopathic party. So yeah, I'm gonna put the blame on them. But let's take a look, see why Swinney has got his knickers in a twist over Salmond. Here goes. So, John Swinney says he'll never campaign with former SNP leader Alex Salmond again. Well, apart from the fact that they're in different parties, but they do have the same agenda of Scottish independence. And if there was ever a platform where it was all the independence parties together, you'd have to ask if it would be the case of Salmond and Swinney not sharing that platform. And I think probably not. I think that's possibly what would happen with Swinney. He's in that mindset of hate, you see, because you can't just disagree with anyone. You can, normal people, you can disagree. You've got your friends. Someone has said something, you go, no, that's rubbish, mate. It's rubbish, and whatever. You can disagree and still be friends. But I think within the SNP, if you disagree, it must go straight to hate. You can't just have disagreement. It must become hate. You must loathe and hate and whatever the opposition at all times. You're not allowed to give a single inch and things like that. And that's why, of course, it's a party of psychopaths and sociopaths, led by a man who should have resigned and retired and gone off and kept begonias, and instead finds himself stuck there looking at electoral defeat and rounding off his career as a failure. Although the pension for life will, of course, be his reward for all the crawling he's done over the last 20 odd years. Anyway, Swinney repeatedly used the word distant when asked how he felt about the former First Minister. John Swinney said he will never campaign again with his former boss, Alex Salmond. They're not friends, though. I don't think there are friends within the SNP. It's a collection of individuals, isn't it? The SNP leader confirmed that the rift between the pair, by saying he felt very distant from who he is. Swinney worked with Salmond for decades at Westminster and Holyrood, serving as his finance secretary for 7 years. But Salmond fell out badly with his successor as First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon. Because, he's not mental and she is. This was over her government's unlawful probe into sexual harassment claims against Salmond, which he then won. But you can guarantee that there's more to that case than meets the eye. And here's where I've got to be careful. In my opinion, and it is purely my conjecture, I offer no proof, and I'm just saying that it is me only. It is my opinion that perhaps Nicola Sturgeon was potentially involved in the creation of these charges in order to help oust Salmond so she could take over. I think I've covered myself. Swinney was Sturgeon's closest ally in government, and he sides with her over Salmond. Because, of course, he does. He's not his own man. He's still under the thumb, of course, of Nicola Sturgeon, of which more later. I've got another video coming with the baleful influence of that particularly nasty witch. We shall have a look. In an interview with The Record, we asked how he feels about the man he worked with for decades and distance. He replied, after a long pause. Asked how he made them feel, he said, it doesn't really put me up or down. He was also asked if he'd ever campaign again with Salmond. He said, no, because I feel very distant of who he is. he said, they were just there, it's just that. But yeah, I don't see these two ever reconciling, but not because they perhaps wouldn't like each other or anything like that. Just simply because John Swinney has no spine. He has his orders, you must hate. Anyone who is not the SNP, you must hate. Anyone who says anything, even if it's entirely sensible, entirely wonderful, and would do good for Scotland, you must hate it because they are the opposition. The opposition must be given no consideration. That, I'm afraid, is just the SNP mentality. But within it, it is so damaging to Scotland. You need consensus. You need to work together. And they never will, because they are unworkable. They are that friendless child at school. And so they all huddle and form their super friends. But we all know what they are. I mean, half of them are sort of cruel animals, you know, wet the bed. The triumvirate, you know what I'm talking about there. And then they go on and do terrible, terrible things. But that's who they are. They keep getting themselves voted in. But now's the chance, of course, to vote them out. I don't mind Salmond. Salmond is no threat. He may even get a seat or two. Not, I think, at Westminster, but possibly in the 2026 Holyrood elections. But it will be interesting to see. Anyway, we shall round off there. We shall come up. We shall finish the video. And my phone is ringing. So I'll let it ring out. Anyway, thanks very much. We'll like I say, we'll come up and we'll round this video off. Sorry, distracted by the phone. Here you go. You know, I should put my phone on silent when I'm recording, but hey, I forgot. I did one the other day and the bloody alarm went off and I was like, oh. Anyway, yeah, so that's the problem I got. You've got these people, they're all disparate. None of them are particularly nice people, are they? And then they're all forced into the same room. It's like, you know, like one of these reality TVs. Unfortunately, this reality is all too dangerous because what they come up with really does affect people very badly often. But that's what happens. You need to stop voting them in, people. Stop voting them in. It only encourages them. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment. Definitely hit the subscribe. We're going to push on. We need to grow the channel, need to get the truth out there. And, of course, definitely hit the like button because it helps the video go. So, anyway, until next time, stay safe, stay well, look after yourself. And I, of course, will speak to you later after I've had my phone call. Thanks a lot. Bye.